Hello, I hope all is progressing well. Welcome to I Don't Know, We Can Talk About It, where we discuss myriad of topics civilly, reasonably, and responsibly. My name is Kevin Dufresne. Our first topic is with regard to what may be of local control, though extend beyond local control, beyond local dynamics. The article contains an interview which engages school boards, which engages academic environments in connection with school board decision making, in connection with parameters of local controls. The dynamics extend beyond local controls because the connections of policy, social dynamics in connection with an environment, whether academic, domestic, political, the decision-making processes intersect, affecting how individuals may experience an educational environment. The quality of one's education comes in to question, considering the elements which affect an environment. The article engages with how many parameters of what may be of a school board, what may be of dimensions external to an educational environment, seem to come into connection with an educational environment in ways that may actually prove adverse for good quality education, which brings about more need to investigate what may be possible to establish an educational environment that grows on the basis of the quality of learning, qualities of learning. How does an educational environment prove to operate well of educational criteria to ensure to bridge individuals of the educational environment to be functional and efficient in modern society, to be able to effectively and resourcefully grow to be functional, efficient individuals in society. Now, an educational environment may adhere to a more immediate society, more immediate connections, if operating in alignment with interests. Consider educational environments that have particular CTE connections that connect students with opportunities. So when the individuals matriculate from the educational environment, the matriculation will be toward a particular path of interest, of practice, of choice development. with so many dynamics between so many different environments, the article engages the importance of keeping awareness of the importance of an open mind with regard to non-biased dimensions. I think ensuring an educational environment is improving quality of learning is extremely important. Now, well-rounding learning involves many dimensions which operate beyond only being a good test taker, which operate of social and emotional foundations, which operate of research foundations. The realities present in an educational environment may need daily attendance, though may receive appropriate tending through mindfulness beyond procedure. Procedure may somewhat become robotic, mindless, without proper engagement, which is very, very important to acknowledge as one may go by day to day in an educational environment through what may seem to be the same, though maybe operating through so many dynamics of change. There are areas of attention the article brings that highlight what may be objectively apparent, satisfying for one's comprehension, considering test-taking measurements. Yet, what are the qualities of the test? What are the qualities of the educational environment? These are the types of questions that are necessary to assess, because not every educational environment is the same. Not every educational environment offers the same, let alone similar, qualities of learning, qualities of teaching, qualities of resources, which may not even be financially dependent. So the social dynamics extending beyond an educational environment, which connect to an educational environment, may greatly improve, though may receive more adequate attention with regard to how these dynamics come to be, as well as the intricacies of the dynamics that may come to affect an educational environment. With so many avenues of improvement available, with so many options to re-engage education in ways that may prove more efficacious toward sound, functional, efficient human beings, there are many valuable, healthful progressions that may be set to use to different alignments, so as to better regard values and qualities that may not be operating of bias, though, of integral core foundations of human development, especially with regard to the developing world at large. Our next topic regards executives offering advice. These executives come from different realms of industries and offer advice that may prove valuable for one to comprehend to a degree. I say so because one may acknowledge a particular company, one may acknowledge the advice coming from an individual of a particular company that may be sharing advice that may prove beneficial for the particular company, for what the company may be looking for, what may be on the table for the company's agendas to work with, economically, skill-wise. The other dynamics of these conversations regard what the executives offer as valuable in the workplace in general. Transferable skills are always going to be transferable skills. And soft skills are always going to be valuable. Why? Because there are so many people in the world, and being able to well communicate, well collaborate, well commune are extremely important to social dynamics. Social dynamics which exceed what may be procedurally happening in a work environment. Of course, social dynamics include emotional dynamics. So the advice may prove sound. I will get to one particular area which the advice is very clear and particular for that particular industry. The soft skills are valuable because of the engagements between human beings. The technical skills may vary depending on the company's resource availability, a company's resource connections, contracts that may be receiving the height of attention, though years from now, different technology may be available. One may consider software engineers as a good example to address how the language that may be popular may be in use for a particular time, though may shift or may phase out depending on hardware developments, company relations, new technology. Yet the reality is any role that addresses software that connects to hardware may have to deal with those particular dynamics. One may consider how not every laptop, not every gaming hard drive are suitable for each other. Even more so, not every particular game is best on only one particular system of hardware. So one may find differences of quality not depending on the most popular high-powering hardware, though on particularity of hardware that operates well with particularity of software or another hardware. These are dynamics that require important attention. I mention all of these things because with all of this advice, it's important for one to know the landscapes of which one is working, of which one is seeking to work in. When an individual is assessing one's goals, one's intentions with one's life, then one may better align with an organization that makes sense. Understandably, individuals may need jobs. Individuals may have economic needs and or wants that a particular organization may satisfy, and an individual may get in. Which doesn't indicate anything about the social and emotional area in great depth, though does bring about the reality of individuals being in a position to renegotiate with growth dynamics personally as well as organizationally, though in connection with the personal life. So that one may well acknowledge where one really wants to be, where one really wants to grow through. Now, there are other areas of recognizing these companies that are in the conversation. These executives from these companies are in big fields. So one may find different companies operating differently within the fields, especially when it's considering globally what one may want to do with one's life, with one's skill growth. Whereas one company may tout, again, a particular technical area, in another country, one may need to be more hands-on in connection with other dynamics that do not involve technology or the same technical prowess, though may greatly benefit if an individual is aware of a different form of technology. And the connecting dynamics, again, are important for one to assess, to seek, to learn about. What may be necessary with what I want to do, with my interests, where is that possible? Then one has more of a fighting chance of negotiating with an entity that is more matching, especially if an individual may be just reaching out to a particular company to address interest, though may have an awareness of a different boundary that may be apparent, and the individual may be navigating with a long-term goal in sight. That's really wonderful. So the individual can find different ways to continue to grow with that intention in mind without feeling a sense of not going anywhere, of feeling beyond a sense of just having a job, of understanding the pathways of what work may mean in connection with one's life for however long one may be in the work environment and the workforce. Anything may happen, so it's really important to continue to see how one may grow with these regards. Now, the particular field that I mentioned is of cybersecurity. I remember sitting in a meeting with an individual that grows through cybersecurity, holds top credentials of which few in the world have. And in the meeting, I recognize the value of credentials for particular fields because of the objective parameters of which these credentials operate. when an individual credentials through cybersecurity, there are levels of comprehension regarding hardware and software. Now, with these couplings, one sets oneself up to be uniquely put. So, I find any role that may be similar with regard to credentialing needs the proper attention of learning, of seeking to grow. Those skills that are valuable, balance. Now, the individual does mention the importance of soft skills. There is no escaping the reality of soft skills because the client base grows wider as one credentials, and that individual is someone that people really seek out. Being of a group of individuals that have a particular credential. So, with that in mind, even with the credentialing being so proper, elevating one, providing one with the opportunity for more access, the soft skills are extremely valuable to determine how one's relationships may form with regard to the work at hand, as well as what may be beyond the work at hand as well. So keep that in mind. There are credentialing systems that directly, objectively connect individuals with accessing more opportunity. Even so, the soft skills continue to be relevant and necessary at all levels, and one may recognize this in society at large, regardless of the level of one's position. Soft skills become very, very apparent. Now, one may say, what about a job that is very out of the way, of which one attains, no one bothers the individual? There are dynamics to consider for different positions. If one is seeking to address the world at large, to engage socially, then embracing the soft skills are extremely valuable. And of course, if one is successful with technical prowess and doesn't want to involve with any other social dynamic at all, then if that's a possibility and it works out for one's life, then that is the case. There are many possibilities to address, so I'm just mentioning these other areas with regard to the advice of the executives because it's important to keep an open mind with the bigger pictures as well, so one may find more opportunity to navigate, as well as so one addresses oneself well with one's long-term intentions and goals. All right, time for some origami. First things first, I have a square sheet of origami paper. I'm just going to fold it down. Okay. So now, after I fold it, I'm going to fold in both sides. Now, to make sure the fold is even, I'm just going to fold in the middle, so edge to edge. After the edge to edge fold, I'm going to just bring the laps, I'll call them, the flaps here as well. Here, that to the inside. Now, after bringing these flaps to the inside, we're going to just fold up here. So bring this portion of the back up to meet. This back portion, then we're going to fold across. So we're going to fold here, and folding across, and I'll do it this way so it's more visible. Fold here, across here, okay? And from here, we're gonna actually bring both portions down. So we're gonna bring both portions down to the middle. We're folding it down, and we're bringing it here. Okay, so we're folding it down, and bringing it here. They'll meet right here in the middle. All right, then you can press it in. Okay. Next, we're going to bring ourselves to fold this back. Alrighty. So now after this, we come here, we fold it back. Next, we're just gonna take the tip here, and we're gonna just fold it. Just fold it here, and then we're gonna press it in. And we're gonna do the same for the bottom portion. So you can do them separately, you can do them together. So just fold in the tips here, fold in the tips here, and then we're just gonna bring down a little open, take my finger here, put it here, and we'll just flip it in right there, and then take the other portion here, and flip it in, and voila, here we have our origami boot. So it does stand well. You can set it just right here. If you want to make another one, you can. And as you can see, it'll stand because of that 3D dynamic. Alrighty. I champion reading physical books. When an individual reads a physical book, there are long-term health benefits. The brain physically changes when an individual reads a physical book. Pachinko is quite a phenomenal read. Engaging with the dynamics cross-culturally between Korea, north to south, and areas of Japan, with consideration of America. The dynamics at play operate through coming of age and are intergenerational, as well as economically generational, investigating post-war society and really engaging with how individuals thrive, how individuals embrace opportunity through the different situations that may come about through these different social connections that extend economically. Pachinko is interesting because of being a very popular game. So when I refer to Pachinko, now I'm referring not only to the name of the book, but the game of chance and the operating of so many dynamics which involve chance with regard to life. How might one succeed through life, of which one must find opportunity, of which may prove to be of mysterious bounds. Even within the close-knit communities, there are so many shifting dynamics to consider. What does marriage and love and romance mean socially with economic considerations at play. And how do individuals seek to commune, to grow with regard to social, economical dynamics which may seem more apparent, more present in one's life? How does one decide to grow being oneself, and does that rely on particular factors more so than one's actions? When I mention so, I consider the dynamics between being a woman and a man, or being a store owner, or a loan shark, in comparison to being a customer, being an individual that needs to engage with the dynamics of which necessitate attention personally in systems that appear broader and more maze-like to navigate when one enters. These systems don't only operate of the economic boundaries, though connect greatly to the psychological boundaries. I find the character movements are very, very important to assess with regard to the psychological dynamics that become apparent through the play. And how do societies communicate? How do societies grow? How do individuals grow beyond social and economical dynamics? There are political situations that arise with regard to historical backdrops, which one may think, why does any situation of the sort even exist in modern society, if modern society is to be more progressive than a backdrop of history that may be very conflicting, may be very violent. Of course, how does one live in preparation for the future with regard to the possibility of anything even happening? If a business starts to experience challenges because of social, political situations that are greatly affecting economic situations, is the preparation happening beyond the present moment? What else comes to mind is what actually thrives through these types of situations and may prove extremely challenging to have business thriving. Though other businesses similarly experience differently, may speak more to the randomness that may align with decision making, circumstantially through different parameters of living. Of course, being able to strategically navigate is extremely important, especially with consideration of future dynamics. Thinking of generational development beyond the present, beyond one's current situation, one must be navigating with future in regard. Pachinko is really, really enjoyable to read. I really find the detailings of the text very, very valuable. And the reality is, the social dynamics bring a lot for one to assess, not of judgment, though of observation, though of increasing awareness to
be able to better understand the potential reality of what may be aside from oneself otherwise, as well as the connection with oneself, with other dynamics that may be in close relation to one's environment, to one's being. Thank you for joining. I don't know. We can talk about it. Onward and Upward with Kevin Dufresne.